Welcome to the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, where you will learn top strategies from world-class real estate investors, both large and small. Why not? Tune in and get started today.
Right. So busyness are those things that you trick yourself to make you think, oh, I'm working on my business and I've been busy all day and whoa, this has been a great day. I put in 12 hours. How many sales calls did you make? Oh, phone calls? I didn't make any phone calls. I'd have to talk to people. I don't want to do that. I just want to read through my emails and look at blog posts and do all this other stuff. But is it making you any money?
So guys, without further ado, I'm going to bring up Brian Lucier. He's a huge player in the game with over 300 units, generates almost $4.5 million in revenue from property management, owns his properties outright in Aruba. Very experienced. Please give him a hand and listen to his story.
Okay, if you could do a quick prayer that this works. Here we go.
Might only get 2 screens, so if that. Nope.
Well, this is where it started last time. We got it to work. I may need to restart. So, as this is trying to do its thing, I'll let you know what we've got going on here. This is my fishbowl for the raffle. I've got some books, I've got some shirts, and if you don't have a business card, you can take one of mine and fill out the back of it. Okay? And hopefully this is going to flip on. It's close to no cigar.
There we go. It's working now.
I don't think we're going to watch Netflix. I think I'm going to restart real quick because that seemed to do the trick last time. Almost. We'll try it again. Okay, so while this is restarting, I'm going to ask you a question. Why are you here?
Here to learn.
First person who spoke.
Yes, let's go.
Okay, learn something there. When I ask you a question, take action. It's going to be a while before I do that again, right? Did I get the right book?
You get the right book.
All right, just checking.
Thanks.
I was talking to Bob earlier, and he already has the other 3. So the other 3 are pretty good too. Let's get this going. Okay. Hi, everybody. I just turned it on.
Good thing we're in the real estate business, huh?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming out here tonight. I see a couple of friends. I see a couple of clients. I see a lot of people I've never seen before. Also, you have a handout sheet tonight that we're going to be using. I've got a little exercise that we're going to be doing. So I already asked the first question, why are you here? Bob, why are you here?
Here to grow and learn.
Somebody else, why are you here?
Free pizza.
Good answer. Kyle, why are you here? Free t-shirt, that was a good answer. That was good. So what is your why? Somebody else.
To add value to people around me.
To add value to the people around you. I'm going to chew on that one. That was a good one. Somebody else.
Build a generational wealth.
Build generational wealth. Have you been on my website or reading my marketing information? That's our tagline, building generational wealth.
To help other people like that, we look at homes, manage their homes, and help people generate income from their assets or from their investments.
I hear a lot of themes to help other people, which I want to help you, so let's roll on this. So, people are usually motivated by pleasure or pain. People will act more to avoid pain than to actually gain pleasure. Like people will avoid going to the gym because it stinks to wake up at 4 in the morning and work out for an hour and a half. But the results you get are measurable, right? People will sit on the couch and eat popcorn and sandwiches because it's easy to do and it feels good. We're all here right now. We've sacrificed some other thing that we could be doing to be here tonight. So you could be watching the Olympics or whatever, but you're here tonight, so I want to make it worth it for you. So what's another thing that motivates people? Fear. Somebody name some fears. Fear of failure.
Losing all my money.
Yeah, that one came up a little quick. Up that, what was it?
Losing all my money.
Losing all your, if I find it, I'll let you know I found it. I have all your money now.
Rejection.
Rejection, fear of rejection. Fear of success is something people don't think about. In one of the Earl Nightingale stories, he tells the story of a salesman from the middle of the country, farm boy, came out to the East Coast, and he sold more sales that he could even imagine in 2 weeks, that he was terrified, went home, went under his covers, and was hiding from the world because he was not ready for the success that he had, which came on him so quickly because he did his job well, to the point where he quit his job and went back to the farm. He could not handle the success. So we are going to grow to the level of the success that we're comfortable at. If I don't think like a billionaire, I'm not going to be a billionaire. If I think I'm worth $20 an hour, I'm going to set my level there and not succeed beyond that point. So to get to where you're going in life, when does your journey start? Oh, I have to point it out. Yesterday. What's the best time to buy real estate? Yesterday. How 20 years ago. You said 20 years ago. So you bought it when you were 7? That was good. 20 years ago. Okay, so, but wait a minute, right? You're here tonight. Why are you going to listen to me? Who am I? Who cares, right? I'm just a guy in a colorful shirt with red glasses. Well, I host a podcast.
Welcome to the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, where you will learn top strategies from world-class real estate
Mickey Mouse.
investors, both large and small.
Kyle, I don't know if you saw it, but you were up there.
Get started today.
So that's one of my shows, and this is the other show. You may recognize that little jingle. It's from Bigger Pockets, but it's royalty-free, so I can do that. So I've got 2 different podcasts, and I'd love to get some of you on there. Kyle's already been a guest on my show. The blue shows, we interview real estate investors, large and small. The yellow show, I will unpack a tip or tactic that I've learned over the years and just unpack it. And this is all free. I've been doing this over 2 decades, and it's my joy to give it back. Somebody said generational wealth. Absolutely. If I could teach other people in their lives that I even never meet how to get generational wealth out of their life, then my life is a success, even if I never meet you. So, why me? Why here? Why tonight? Phase 1 of my life, I was an art school major, right? So, I inhaled. Yeah, which is probably how all this stuff started in the first place. I had a marketing and advertising degree. I was an illustrator. I eventually became a professor, a college professor at Mass College Rock, teaching website design, painting, illustration. That was all fun. But I had dirt poor financial literacy. None of my schooling, none of my training taught me business. When I was in art school and when I was teaching my students, one of the reasons they asked me to leave is because I was teaching art students business. They said, no, you gotta be creative, you gotta let them grow, you gotta let them think. I says, well, I don't want to let them starve. So we had a little bit of a difference of opinion, and I moved on to other things. So in phase 2, I was working at the advertising agency at Fidelity Investments. How many people have a 401k? No comment. So that infamous day when I was eating my tuna fish sandwich at my desk, everybody else went out for lunch, but I was frugal. I started reading the investing pro forma for the 401ks that we were selling that Kool-Aid to all of these businesses to have their employees invest in 401k. And I says, okay, so this is interesting. First time I ever read it, I was always designing it, make it look good, but now I'm actually reading it and doing the math. I says, oh, so this is how this works. So I started doing the calculations, what I could put away, 65, when I could retire, when I could start taking money out, how long it would last. And by 82, I would be saying, welcome to Walmart, would you like a card? My 401k was not okay. It was not how I was going to get to where I needed to be. So I remember going home from work one day, there were 2 other investors at the agency at Fidelity. One was buying duplexes in Plymouth, the other one had a multifamily, 1 building in Quincy, Mass. And we'd always kind of get together and say, how's your building doing? How's your building doing? And I thought I was the genius buying small multifamilies. Like, oh, you're buying a duplex. That's nice. I just want a 6, right? But, you know, you try to be humble. So just by myself without partners, I got up to about $8 million in assets. And at that point, things tightened up at Fidelity and I was out the door. Now, I manage over $90 million worth of assets, and I've got 2 accounts that I'm working on right now that are going to put us at over $120 million worth of assets. And some of these I own, but a lot of these I manage. So here I am now, and as portrays. Josh. As Josh had said, and that slide now needs an update. When I created this a couple months ago, our gross revenues were $4.4 million. And we're doing a little bit better than that right now. We just crossed client number 148. Do you know what number client you are? I'd have to look. Wait, take another, huh? Yeah, when you get your code, do you know?
I don't know, 80?
Oh, gee, okay, well, yeah, we've been crushing it this year. We probably picked up around 15 clients in 2023, and we're doing pretty well. Try to keep it humble. So now, what's my story? I live on an island. I traveled 2,300 miles to be here tonight. That is my porch where I have my coffee every morning. Where those pink flowers are where I have my coffee and read my book. I'm in a very boring routine. I wake up, I go to the gym for an hour, hour and a half, I come back, I have my coffee, I read for 30 minutes, and then I manage my teams in Massachusetts, Los Angeles, and Aruba. And I'm having a blast. And when we moved down to the island, I said to my wife, I don't know where this is going. We're starting with... What size shirt do you wear? Kevin, what size shirt do you wear? He's not going to tell me what type shirt. What size shirt are you?
Sure.
Small, medium, XL.
Sure.
Extra large. Kevin, come up and grab an extra large. That's what you get. Do it again, and I'm going to make you wear the shirt. All right. Yeah. Now, don't be calling each other because it only works once, right? So you saw the slides up there. I host. Well, I told my wife this is a blank slate. I don't know where we're going from here. We sold off a large chunk of our assets, and we bought that condo for cash. I'm a little embarrassed to tell you what I paid for it, but I can tell you it doubled in price in 4 years. So, yeah. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stay home. So one of the things everybody asks, what's in it for me? What I would love to get out of this at the end of my presentation, hopefully to have you inspired, help you create generational wealth for you and your loved ones. I would also, and I'll save some of this for the end, I'd like to do a free mastermind, and I'll talk about that later. And I'm a business problem solver. I'm literally a business problem solver. Brian, at the end of the bar, we were in Colorado together, and my leading question to every table I sat at is, what's the biggest challenge in your business today? And think about that question. If I were to ask Josh, how can I help you grow your business? You can't answer that question because you don't know my skills. But if I ask you, what does your business need today? You already know that answer. So then I can dig into my network and solve his problem. In every table I sat at Colorado, at the Better Life Conference, same thing, after and after and after, which is where a lot of the ideas for this presentation came from. So, are you still doing those tasks in your business that you would pay someone $20 an hour to do? That's a painful question. That's a really painful question. Don't answer it. So, are you still trading hours for dollars? And that's okay, because if you have a regular job, that means you're lendable. You can go into a bank and get a loan and buy more real estate. And do that for as long as you possibly can. I would never say to anyone, quit your job and do real estate. I would say, find as many sources of income and do each thing you do the best you possibly can. So what are you doing, and what's your highest, best purpose that only you can do? Bob, you sold business. You probably know what your highest, best use of your time is. Okay? If you don't know your highest, best use of your time, we've got a little exercise that we're going to do. Why not? Why are you not doing that? Are you Bob? Yeah. You put it right on the top. Okay, that was cool. Okay. Mr. Salvo, you're my winner. Would you like... Oh no, you know what I'm going to do? Edith. Do you already have an Edith? All right, we do now. I drove around for years in Chevy Silverado University. If you get that joke, that means I listened to audios in my truck while I was working. CD number 6 in that book is where I built the operations for my property management company. And if you've ever seen my journal, my manual for that is 140 pages thick on the operations for my property management company. So every time Why Not comes up on the screen, we're going to do a raffle. And if somebody says something funny or their phone rings or you disrupt me, I'm going to call you out and we'll probably give you a shirt or something. Okay, so that was kind of the intro for tonight's talk. But now here we are. Now the rubber meets the road. Busyness versus business. So many people, and Nick Alrud is where he got the phrase, shut up and do it. He would be sharpening his pens and rearranging his desk. Did anyone catch that? Sharpening his pens? Sharpening his pencils and all this stuff, and he'd make sure the desk was clean and there was paper in the copier and doing all this stuff so we'd be all set up for business, but he was just doing busy work. Was he checking emails for 4 hours a day and not making sales calls, right? So busyness are those things that you trick yourself to make you think, oh, I'm working on my business and I've been busy all day and whoa, this has been a great day. I put in 12 hours. How many sales calls did you make? Oh, phone calls? I didn't make any phone calls. I'd have to talk to people. I don't want to do that. I just want to read through my emails and look at blog posts and do all this other stuff. but is it making you any money? So, the busyness, and if you can catch it, we have, oh, it's not going to show in there. Anyways, we have LOVE, so list organizing, sorting out lists, right? I've got a mailing list. I'm going to spend half my day sorting out that mailing list. You know what? Just send it. When the returns come in, then sort and purge the list. But get it out the door. Get your leads out there. Get your funnel going. Death scrolls, SEO, dopamine, or whatever they call that thing. How many people are on Instagram? Guilty. I'm guilty, I'm on Instagram. I don't remember the last time I posted, and through many conversations with Kyle, I have people do that for me now. Maria is crushing it, by the way. We'll talk later. I did not have a virtual assistant until one night where I called Kyle and then went for a walk out on the beach after the presentation. So wait a minute. I live on an island where people speak 4 languages. One of them's English and one of them's Spanish. So we have 2 gals that sit at my dining room table on a couple of iMacs doing all of our leasing and doing all of our marketing. And they're sisters. And they are rock stars. And I'm happy to say we're paying them $4 an hour over a manager's rate on the island. Aruba has a very interesting economic structure. Minimum wage for an adult is $8 an hour. These girls, fresh out of college, like 2 months out of college, making $12.50 US. After everything dead and buried, it's like they're making $30 an hour flooring on the island. And I'm happy to help them. I'm not telling you this because I'm some generous guy. They're helping me grow my business, and I'm helping them support their lives. And if you can get to that point, a lot of you said you want to do something like that, make it happen. Okay, lack of vision, shortness on vision, lack of focus. Where am I going? I say this to my team all the time. I mean, I'm building forests. The gentleman right there, Steve, was talking about Nelson Nash and the infinite banking system. Nelson Nash was a forester. He does his whole infinite banking system with a forester mentality. He's building a forest for generations to come. That's what that is all about. So where's your vision? Are you thinking about, well, what am I going to get done by 5 o'clock today? Or are you thinking, what am I going to do today that's going to impact next week, which will impact next month, which will impact 6 months, which will impact a year, which will impact 3 years, which will impact 5 years. If you reverse engineer your version of success, you can cut apart the parts all the way down to what do you need to do today? What do you have to achieve a day to compile and compound up to those points? And that's hard to do because you have to look ahead. You have to challenge yourself. And then stuck on emails. We already talked about that, right? Twice a day I'll check my emails. After I get all my team set up, I'll allow myself 15 minutes to blast through my emails. And then after I get all my work done, by 2 o'clock, 2:30, I'll go through my emails a day at the end of the day. And that's it. I'm not going to be stuck on emails throughout the day because you can get sucked in. Somebody has an email, I want this to look great, so you spend a half hour crafting it, and then you send it, so look, another one. I sent out 5 emails today, but I made 0 phone calls or sales calls. That is not business, that is busyness. So what really makes you money? Marketing. Marketing. Finding those leads, right? If you don't know how to find leads, talk to other people in the room. I'm going to keep picking on Kyle over there because he helped me grow my business so much. You just posted a YouTube recently on before you hire a VA, watch this. Yeah, that's Kyle. Talk to him. He's a smart guy. Conversion. Are you converting those leads into clients? And how do you do that? Sales. Creating revenue streams. Oh, this is a really good one. Ancillary businesses, right? If you could create a business, what's the support business to that? And what's a support business to that? Joshua was saying they have Candor Realty, they've got a construction group, they've got XYZ, ABC, EDFG, and each one of those complements the other. They're all separate, but they complement the other. It's like, oh, you need this? We can provide that. And it's not, I'm going to be one company that wears 7 hats. I'm going to have 7 different companies that wear one hat and do one thing better than anybody else. Jim Collins, Good to Great. How many people know the hedgehog and the fox? Ooh. Okay, so the hedgehog and the fox. The fox constantly tries to capture and eat the hedgehog. That's your competition. The fox is out there trying to eat you alive every day. The hedgehog, like Mario Brothers, the little blue thing that rolls around, that hedgehog guy, does one thing better than anybody else. He goes along, does his business. When he sees the fox coming, he rolls up into an impenetrable ball. The fox can never get into him because that is the one thing he does. What's your hedgehog? What's the one thing that you do better than any of your competition? So when the fox will have 100 different ways to try to eat you alive. But if you have one thing, God bless you, if you have one thing that you do better than anybody else, you can be the hedgehog. And then the flywheel concept. Does anybody know the flywheel concept? What do you got?
You keep pushing, and just have a big movement from itself. So every small movement will keep moving different.
Yes, and it's those small movements that start the flywheel. If you couldn't hear him, and for the sake of this recording, the flywheel is like this giant grindstone. And if you ever saw Conan the Barbarian, him pushing that thing along, he's grunting and grunting, and it's so much effort to get it to move that 1 inch. And then once it's starting to move a little bit, you can build up momentum, and it gets a little bit easier. And then as it builds up speed, eventually you're just slapping the thing, and it's building up speed, and you're just slapping it to keep it moving because it has momentum. That's the flywheel concept. What's your flywheel concept? What is it that you need to do to get your business to operate without you pushing? Ability to pivot. Leaders will pivot. Walgreens was a great story. They used to be a malt shop, then they became a pharmacy. At that point, they were competing with an online pharmacy, and Walgreens just crushed them. And it's all about their leadership. I mean, I will do this with my team all day long. My team are rock stars. I tell them every week they're rock stars. If they're not rock stars, I will jump on a plane and go back and fire someone. That sounds brutal and harsh. But what's that message that it sends to the rest of my team? Anybody, take a guess. Don't mess up. Do a good job. Okay, so those are the external things. Yes?
I hold people accountable.
Good. What if you're on my team and Joe's doing a horrible job and I'm not doing anything about it?
No, please.
Lowers the bar.
Lowers the bar and it makes me a horrible leader. If you're a horrible leader, people won't follow you. If you have your team's back and will jump on a flight and spend thousands of dollars to show up in the morning and collect the keys and a phone from somebody who's bringing down your team, one bad person on your team will kill your morale 80%, and the rest of your rock stars will look at you and say, what the heck are you doing? This guy's screwing up our operation and you're not doing anything about it. I think I'm looking for a new job. Nice to know you. They're not going to want to stay in that environment, but if I will come back and I'll say, look, you guys are my rock stars. Joe wasn't making the cut. We're going to get rid of Joe, or we're going to allow Joe to move on to where Joe will be happier and more productive. And I'm going to take care of you because you guys are my team. Right? That's being a leader. If you are a good leader, your people will follow you. If you're a poor leader, they'll walk away. Tony Robbins. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, it's what we do consistently. The path to success is to take massive, determined action. My grandmother would say, "Alza da Culio and Sava da Sul." Anybody Italian? What do we got? Alza da Culio and Sava da Sul. Get off and serve yourself. I love my grandma. So Tony Robbins is saying the way to success is to take that massive action. What is that one thing that you're going to do better than anybody else? So, what type of results do good effort get you? It's on the board, you can read it. Poor results. If I do a good job, I'm going to get poor results. If I do great effort, I'll get good results. If I do exceptional effort, I'll get great results. I have to be exceptional to get great results. I have to be in that 2-3% of what it is that I do better than anybody else. And I have to have a massive action plan, what I call a map. Tony Robbins calls it a map. So you need to have a massive action plan. If you don't have a pen, grab one. We're probably going to jump into our workshop now. Okay, let's do a little mind mapping session. So on your handout, on one side is a cloud, and on the other are some VA stuff that we'll get into in a little bit. So, in the middle of your cloud is your great big idea. Actually, I'll jump ahead there. Your big, bold, bright idea. What's your company? What are you all about? What is it that you do? What's your widget? What's your business? Mr. Salvo, you've got the book from Michael G. Gerber. Michael G. Gerber. Is it G? Michael B. Eager. Michael E. Gerber. That is a great book, okay? So as you people are grabbing all that, let's go back a little bit. Okay, so mind map, right? You can mind map all by yourself. You can mind map with your team. I strongly suggest mind mapping with your team, and I'll tell you why. Kyle may have a great idea. I may have what I think is a great idea, but I'm going to give Kyle credit as a great idea. So Kyle's going to bring his idea to the table and says, we should make widget X. And I'm going to come in and say, well, I think we should make widget Y. And now through a brain mapping session, and we'll look at this in a second, Kyle's going to go through the reasons and rationale for X. I'm going to go through the reasons and rationale for Y. And then I'm going to say, well, gee, I like these 3 things about your idea. And Kyle's going to say, I like these 2 or 3 things about your idea. And combined, we're going to do a hybrid of Z, which is a better idea than just his idea or just my idea. Does anyone know the story of the 2 grandmas and the orange? Okay, 2 grandmas are in the kitchen and there's one orange, and they're fighting over the orange. One grandma says, I need the orange for what I'm going to do. And the other grandma says, well, I need the orange for what I'm going to do. And they bicker back and forth until the orange withers and goes bad, and no one can use the orange. So, grandma number 1 wanted to squeeze the orange to make orange juice. Grandma number 2 wanted to grind the rind of the orange to make orange zest for a cake she was baking. So, if Kyle and Brian had got together and talked about the orange, and he would have said, well, I think the orange can give us juice, and we can create this product, and I would have said, well, I think we can get the zest from the orange and make a cake or a cinnamon bun or whatever that no one has ever tasted before, which would be amazing, then Kyle would have success, and I would have success out of the same orange that would serve 2 different purposes. So that's why mind mapping or brainstorming is important. And when you're brainstorming, try to Resist the temptation to go, oh, well, no, I don't like that idea. Throw everything on the table and then go through it as an exercise. What's the pros and cons of each one? So productivity. Absolutely. You want to get everybody on the team together, mapping ideas to help boost the team productivity. If everybody feels they can contribute, they're going to contribute. If they're encouraged to contribute, they're going to enjoy that. They'll do that. Analysis. It helps you figure out the different ways you can use the orange. Can you use the pulp? Can you use the juice? Can you use the rind? Whatever it is. Can you put it in a candle and make the room smell nice? Who knows? You talk about it. Everyone at the table will have a different idea. It inspires creativity, innovation, ideas. You do this all the time, right? You'll have a conversation with someone, and someone will say red truck. And then you'll think, oh yeah, red truck with chrome wheels. I know a place that sells really good chrome wheels. And boom, one idea turns into another. Or if it's real estate, oh my God, there's so many different avenues you can do there. I say this all the time on the show. You could ask 12 different real estate investors what their strategy is and get 14 different answers. Because everyone's going to see something a little different. And if you ask the question, you're going to learn, you're going to grow. Collaboration, it promotes communication in the team. You know what my number one challenge with my teams are every day? We're on 3 different coasts, 2 different countries. What's my number one challenge? Okay, we stopped at collaboration where it promotes communication and teamwork. Anyone want to guess what my number one challenge is for my team? Anybody want to guess? Getting them to pick up the phone and talk to each other. If one of my team members calls me, and tomorrow at this time, I will be watching the sunset on Eagle Beach at that nice deck that you saw me on. If one of my team members call me, I'll listen. I'll say, great. What are you going to do about it? What do you think? I'm not going to answer their question. I'm going to say, which team member knows the answer to this? Have you talked to them yet? I could probably babysit them through the answer, but what have I just done? I've taught them to not think on their own. I've taught them that you don't have to solve problems. Just come to me and I'll solve all your problems. If you're going to come to me with a problem, I want to hear a couple solutions to solve that problem at the same time. And my team knows this now. Mike is a rock star. You've met Mike. He'll say, Brian, we got this issue, this and this. I've told the landlord we could do this, or we could do that, or we could do this. I think we should do this. And I'll say, great. Put it together in an email, document it, send it to the landlord, and get confirmation and approval before we move forward. You've probably seen that happen, or I know Cam has seen that happen, right? He'll get the email, it's like, we have this issue, we can solve it this way, we can solve it this way, or if you have your own guys, we can do it that way. How would you like us to proceed? My guys are trained to never spend a dime without approval. And if they do, I'm eating the job. Because if I didn't get my client's approval, it's not their fault, it's my fault. Okay, so productivity, analysis, creativity, collaboration, planning. So let's jump in. We're going to do a little mind mapping session. In the middle of that cloud, your BBBI, your big, bold, bright idea. Everyone should have a different one. If you put real estate, great. You can put real estate. You can put making ice cream. I don't care. Well, I do care, which is why we're going to do this. So, does everybody have an idea in mind what the BBBI is? BBBI? That's a big, 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 bold idea. Does anybody need more time to figure out what your business is going to be? My hand is still up, because I'm still learning and growing. Okay, so, if it's real estate, what are all the tasks related to real estate? So in the middle is, what's my focus? What's that one thing that I do better than anybody else? And what's all the things that need to happen to make that successful? And what I've done here is I've just created this hub with a spoke. And what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? It's different for every single person in this room. So what's your superpower? My superpower is words and talking to people and listening to people. Like when I asked Josh, what's the biggest need in your business today? He knows that answer because I asked the question correctly. If I say, what can I do to help you? I don't know. Now I have to figure out what you do. I have to figure out what I need. You know, we've been through that whole exercise. So Josh knows what his superpower is. He knows what's that one thing in your business, not your busyness, that you can do to make money. What is that? Everyone's going to have a different answer. So here's some of the things on the wheel. Accounting, sales, legal, marketing, administration, networking, payroll, human resources, and operation. These are your base operations to run a business. You've got to have sales, you've got to have marketing, you've got to have account receivables and account payables, because you've got to buy materials, you've got to sell materials. You've got to have accounting to track all this stuff. These are all the basic things. How many people in this room are an accountant? Good, that means you all have the CPA that you pay to do your books, right? Because if you're doing it yourself, you're an accountant. Between April 13th and April 15th. When do people start their taxes? Mid-April. When should you be doing your taxes? You should think that every day. That's we could do a whole presentation on that, but we're not going to do that now. So, Kyle, what's your superpower?
Relationship building.
Networking, you're correct. I was hoping you were going to say networking. Kyle really is a master networker. He's got all these blogs and posts, and you know, he's crushing it on Facebook and all that and stuff. And man, I hate you sometimes because you just suck me right in to answer all these questions. Like, you know, I gotta get back to work. You know, that'll be my next response. I'm sorry, head to work. Comment later in person. Come on down to the island. It's a deduction. So networking would be my superpower, right? That means everything else there I should be outsourcing. Okay? So what are some of the things in your business, right? If you want to take a picture of that slide, you can be my guest. I'll leave it up there for a second. Investor relationships. I'm a guru, well not a guru, I'm a guru junkie. I've spent over $100,000 on all these training sessions and stuff like that. And we used to do the coaching program. It's like, you gotta make 2 offers, you gotta find 2 deals. And I used to go further and say, okay, I got to find 2 brokers and I got to find 2 investors. So it was always 2, 2, 2. Well, it was always 2, 2, 2, 2. So you got to do 2 and 2. You got to do 2 and 2. And I said, well, you know, I'm kind of an overachiever, so I'm going to add a few things to that list. And yeah, I've done okay. It's been a good ride. So those are all the stuff, or some of the stuff that you're going to need for your business. Every business is different. Every business has different types of KPIs. So what is the one thing you do better than anybody else? Was it marketing? Network. No, that was my answer for you. What was your answer for you?
Freedom.
What was the first answer you gave me?
Relationship.
Relationships, okay. So, what is the one thing that you're doing better than anyone else? Building relationships. What's the percentage of that one thing you do every day? Kyle, I'm going to put you on the spot. You were the first one with a shirt tonight. What's the percentage of relationship building you do every day? No shame here. I know you do it.
I need to do more.
We'll leave it there. Like I say all the time, hey, we got 99%. You know what that means? There's room for improvement. You probably heard me say that, right? So what's the percentage of the one thing that you do better than anybody else every day? And have you checked your calendar lately? How many people fill up their calendar with your tasks and duties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The bartender's got half of you nailed. You raised your hand when I asked the question. Half of you. No. It was great for the example. We'll give you the props. You did great. And don't forget to tip the bar. She makes really good drinks. So, in your calendar, right? Are you scheduling? I know you do this because I've seen your schedule posted. Are you filling up your calendar with your superpower? Is your calendar filled with that one thing? Have you blocked out that time for that one thing? I have a game I play with my teams, East, West, and South. I would be the first one. You know the cheapest networking communication thing we use in our business every day, like multiple times a day? Group chat. Group chat. Everyone on the business is on group chat. Our answering service, 24 hours 7. Everyone gets a text on every single call. So if it's a billing question, Julie answers it. If it's a landlord, I answer it. If it's a tenant, Diane, Marina, Maria, Stacy, whoever. If it's maintenance, Mike, Pete, or Hank, whoever. If they see, oh, this is what it is, and then what do? They say, hey, I'm calling back Amanda. Great, everybody knows it's handled. If I see that a call's gone unanswered for 10 minutes, I'm going to say, hey, who's got this? Okay, somebody steps forward and does it. The other thing that I've been doing, and this is a game, and I'm the leader, right? So I set the example. Here are my top 3 for the day, and I will list what are my top 3 for the day. Marketing. Today was payroll. Number 3, whatever number 3 is. And then I challenge my team. What are your top 3? List them and get support from your team. And then they list them, and everyone's doing the hearts and the thumbs up and everything like that. So we're all over the country, all over the planet, and we're getting that affirmation. Hey, I see you. I know what you're doing today. You're doing a great job. Thumbs up. And it's free. And we work as a team. Boy, I tell you, it's hard to throw the ball from Massachusetts to LA, but you can click and get there real fast. Why not? Why are you not filling up your calendar? Try not to look. Brian Sardinskas. Okay, you've got never split the difference or good to great. You know what the story of never split the difference is? Have you read the book?
I haven't, but I know of Chris Voss.
Okay, so spoiler, how many people have not read the book? How many people don't have any blood flow in their arm and can only raise it this high? Good answer, that was nice sarcasm. So Chris Voss is a FBI hostage negotiator. Okay? You've got 10 hostages. You know what? You give me 5, you keep 5, we'll split the difference. 5 people die. That's not acceptable. Not acceptable. It's a good book. It's a really good book. And the other book that accompanies that is Getting to Yes. Getting to Yes. Small little thing like paperback. So why not came up, you know what? Who's an extra large? I'm not going to throw it in the drinks on the table. We'll see wine glass. All right. So, challenge yourself. Know what your superpower is, identify your superpower, and fill your calendar with it. And then knock down the dominoes one at a time. Now, here's the hard part. Try outsourcing everything else that is not your superpower. If you flip over the sheet, and I don't expect you to read all this, that's why I printed it out and gave it to you. If you don't have one, you can pick one up at the door. There's 7 different virtual assistant things. Again, hook up with Kyle, network with Kyle, get onto his YouTube channel, watch this before you hire a VA. And my conversation before I hired VAs was with Kyle. So yeah, I'd say he's a good expert on that. You helped me get there, right?
I appreciate it.
Likewise, brother. Nexus Point, he was on the show, Scale Virtually, and when I did this search in ChatGPT, in AI, I was asking for real estate related virtual assistants, and these are the 7 that they gave me. Upwork, everybody knows Upwork. Fiverr, oh God, I love Fiverr. Need graphic design or logos or anything like that, absolutely. Belay Solutions, My Outcast. And yeah, I'm gonna give you, I'm a broken record here, but I love to talk. That night, I was on the Pints and Properties, when it used to be Pints and Properties in Worcester. I hosted the show from Aruba in Worcester. That's when I met Ryan Emmerich, because he was asking really good questions. At the end of the whole thing, I called Ryan, because like, wow, how does this work doing a presentation from another country? And he was saying it was engaged, people were asking questions, it was good. And Kyle had to excuse himself because he had to call his VA in the Philippines. And I said, well, it's like 11 o'clock at night. He says, yeah, that means it's like early morning over there, or just before lunch. Yeah, so, and I'm like, well, wait, how does that work? He goes, well, it's hard sometimes because I have to be up late, or they have to be up late, or we need to get together at that time. And that's when I had the infamous walk on the beach, figured out that everyone on the island I lived at spoke English and Spanish. Where can I find VAs that speak English and Spanish? Yeah. Virtual Staff Finder. Okay, Brian, this goes all the way back to the Better Life. These were the 4 slides that I stole from Brandon Turner. So if I stole these from a billionaire, I think it might be something worth hearing. So 4 transformational questions. What do you really want? You need to know that with crystal clarity. To say, oh, I want to invest in real estate. That's like saying, oh, I think today I'll eat food. You need to be a little more specific. You need to know what you really want. Why really haven't you achieved that yet? Is it because you're doing the death scrolls on Instagram? Are you writing eloquent email responses that you should be doing in half a minute in ChatGPT? God, I love ChatGPT. I'm nice to ChatGPT. When I get on ChatGPT, I say, hi, I'm so happy to be back. Nice to be working with you again. You did a great job on the last time. Today I want you to assume X prompt. ChatGPT likes me. I like ChatGPT. Saves me a ton of time, and it does my job better than I could do it. I like that. So why really haven't I achieved this? What's that obstacle that I'm not getting over, around, or under, or through? That it's just diverting me into some other direction that I'm not paying attention to what my highest best use is. And what actions should I be taking today to guarantee success? I mentioned the 2-2-2-2, right? Find 2 deals, make 2 offers, make 2 realtor broker calls, and make 2 investor calls. If I do that every week, at the end of the year, I've got 102 investors, 102 for each one of those 4 things. Everybody knows you kiss about 100 frogs before you find a prince. Well, that means I'm absolutely going to find a deal. I'm absolutely going to network my shorts off to make sure that I've got leads coming in. I'm telling everyone what I'm doing. These are the actions you have to do. Like, Kyle, you may remember me from something. If you go back to his earlier shows when I was on his podcast, I weighed 300 pounds.
You look fantastic.
Grandpa's got an 8-pack. Grandpa hits the gym. While grandpa travels, I'm at the gym an hour to an hour and a half every day. And I'm not saying that to shame anybody, I'm just letting you know that I found something that's important to me, and I'm dedicated to make it happen. My granddaughter is 3 going on 4, and I'm dancing with her at her wedding 30 years from now. And it's going to be Elvis, it's now or never. I see it. I'm building forests. I'm thinking 30 years out. I'm not just thinking what's going to happen by Friday. What are the actions you need to do to guarantee your success? And how can I stay consistent and persistent? What am I going to do to measure myself? What am I going to do to compete with myself? I'm not competing with anybody else in this room, okay? I've done what I've done over the past 20 years. I could stop today and be happy, maybe, because I built a machine. I built a machine that I love running. I love adding a cylinder to it. I want to get up to 1,500 units. I want to multiply my team times 3. I want to teach people what I know. I want to help other people grow. And if you want to buy a condo next to me, we can go down to the pool. Okay, here's the funny thing about moving to an island and buying a condo in a condo complex. I didn't know this. All of my neighbors are multimillionaires. What a great place to hang out at the pool. I call it the pool of advisors. And I just go down and ask them, what was your business? And probably 80% of those people that are my neighbors somehow did something in real estate. My best friend at the complex owns 2 hotels up in Rockport. He's going to be selling them for about $16 million. So he's happy. But Joe kills me. I tease Joe. He says, when you sell those, you're going to need another project. He says, yeah, I know. So now he's bought a house in Walmart and he's doing a conversion. He's keeping busy. He's a real estate guy. So what are those things that you have to do to be consistent? What are the reps you need to do? You need to wake up at 4 a.m., put on your sneakers, drive to the gym, do the reps, or whatever it is that you need to do. If you hooked up with a broker or a realtor, first John, what size shirt?
3XL.
Two X. Go to the gym.
That's why I'm 3XL.
Because you go to the gym.
Every day.
All right, that was my wake-up call to move this along here. How are we doing on time? It's 9:45. I think we're doing good. Okay, so what are those things I need to do to win? Okay, this is some critical stuff here. Define and track your goals and your habits. You control them. KPIs, key performance indicators, are not your goals and your habits. Getting people to fill out a guest card for your rental application is not collecting a deposit and signing a lease. It's a KPI to get you to what your goal is. For me, it's collecting rent. Tomorrow is the most wonderful day of the month. Yours is coming. Yep. So, your KPIs are not your habits. Don't get tricked by that. Like, you'll see, oh, you know, we're tracking our KPIs. Okay, we're hitting our KPIs, we're hitting our KPIs. Are you making any money? What are your MINs, your most important next steps? What are those things you need to do today to get you on the trajectory to hit your 10-year forest? And extreme accountability. You need, you hear this all the time. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. I try to hang out with multimillionaires. I try to hang out with people smarter than I am. I want to be the smallest fish in the big pond, or however that goes. I don't want to be the big fish in the small pond. I want to be the smallest fish in the big pond. I want to have people I can learn from, people who will motivate me, people who will challenge me, people who will force me to grow. And the only person I'm going to measure is myself. Can I do better today than I did yesterday? It was a good day. Can I do better tomorrow than I did today? It will be another good day. I didn't bring The Gap in the Game. How many people have read The Gap in the Game? Really great book. The game is what's behind you. How far have I come? If I look past the 20 years that I've come from, I'm amazed. I never thought I'd be where I am. I never thought I'd be here sharing these stories with you. If I focus on the gap and where I could be, am I getting cut? Not yet? Okay. If I'm focusing on the gap where I could be, you read the book, you know, Thomas Jefferson put in the Declaration of Independence, the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness. Which means it's an unobtainable goal that I'm never going to reach. Because every time I take one step towards it, that pursuit is 1 or 2 steps further. Because I see, okay, well now it could be there, or now it could be there. It's constantly moving out ahead of me, and I'm never going to reach it. But if I can look back and say, okay, over the past 20 years, I've done X, Y, Z. Here are my achievable stats that I've done. I'm okay. I feel good. So, my challenge tonight, I would love to walk out of this room with 5 names of people that will hold me accountable. The hardest part for me moving out of this country was not being here with all of you. Was not being able to network with all of you. Not being able to ask you questions, give you shirts, tell you funny stories. I love to talk. I love to talk about real estate. I love to share my stories. I love to hear your stories. And I need an accountability group for myself. It'd be easy for me to write a check for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to get an accountability group or some coaching program. I'm not selling any coaching program. I want like-minded business people who will make the commitment with me every couple of weeks to get on a Zoom call and hold each other accountable. I have a tracking system which you're going to recognize. So, bi-weekly, only serious business-minded, 100% free, but 100% accountable. This should look familiar to you, Brian. This is the Better Life model. I saw Brandon do this, so I built it in Google Drive. Everything calculates automatically. All I have to do is plug in the numbers. So 1 hour in the gym, 5 days a week. The first one there is target. What's the number that I need to hit a week? At the end is how many times did I hit the week? And then you'll see you've got 105% because down on nights and walks 3 miles, I say I want to do it 5 times. I actually did it 6 times that week. So I compete with myself and I win. I allow myself to win. Okay, so if we jump on that, I'll create one of these. Whoever wants to come on, you can hold yourself accountable. It takes me a minute to fill this out, right? Not even a minute. Once a day, it's like, did I hit these numbers yesterday? Boom, 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 boom. It calculates. I don't even have to do any math. And then I get to put in, for myself, what are my goals, what are the things I'm trying to do. If this is something that's interested you, even if I get 3 people to do this, that'll be 4 of us holding them accountable. And I'm a pretty good business coach. So, if you want to take me up on that offer, I'd be more than happy. The podcast, again, is the Why Not Real Estate Podcast. It is youtube.com/@WhyNotRealEstate. How many people might be interested in coming on to the show and being my guest? Perfect. Do I have your business card and contact information? Anybody who raised their hand who wants to be on the show that did not give me your contact information? All right, I've got my business cards. You can fill it out here. There's a pen. Drop it in there. Tomorrow morning, Friday morning, I'll be giving all those to Maria. We'll send out an email. Okay, there's more. Here's how you can contact me. There's my investing branch. That is my ghost that nobody ever sees or nobody ever knows about. It's BHB Group. That's my holding company. And then Bel Air Property Management is my management company. And then the third ghost, I'm going to give you a little tidbit that cost me tens of thousands of dollars to learn. You need 3 companies. One that does everything and owns nothing. One that does nothing and owns everything. And then a total ghost that you never tell anyone about. And as you equity strip out of the holding company that does nothing and owns everything, I am being recorded here. This is not tax or legal advice. I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV. The battery probably died. That's okay. We'll go with it anyways. Hey, what a great time for it to stop, right? Because I'm not a lawyer. The third company is a ghost. As you equity strip, equity stripping is doing a refi out, and you take that cash and you write it as a loan to the third company. And I don't care if you default. Why do you do that? Because now your holding company has no equity in it. And when a lawyer goes to sue you, he sees you have no money in that company. It's in the ghost that nobody knows about. Does that make sense? I got a couple deer in the headlights on that one. So my ghost is Haven Assets Holding Associates. Wait for it. I'm big on acronyms. Did you do the acronym? Haven Assets Holding Associates? Ha ha. Go ahead, try and sue me. All right, so if you want to be a guest on the show and don't feel like filling that out, we'll leave this up on the screen. You can do the QRC code, and that's my presentation. If we have time, I will answer any questions you have at all. Oh. Bob? I'll make sure you get it. I'll send it up as a Google Drive. Tracy Brown. Jim Collins, good to hear you. Really good luck. My pleasure. My pleasure. Anybody, any questions for me? My favorite color is plaid. Yes, Brian.
As you get into property management, was it self-management 60 minute scale, or you take third party or what?
My wife and I bought a lot of properties, and I started out making the same mistakes everybody else did, saying, I'm the landlord, I own the property. It was a pride issue, right? And then the tenants saw me as a target with deep pockets and said, well, I don't want to pay rent, and you can afford it, and blah, blah, blah. So as we started to accumulate more property, I said, maybe it's a good idea if I don't tell them I own the property. And while I was at Fidelity Investments, we started to accumulate some assets to the point where I was working my day job to pay the contractors that were working on my properties, and it hit equilibrium that I was paying out what I was earning for the properties, and that was the turning point where I had to go full-time real estate. So once we had a couple $1 million worth of properties, my first eviction, I got a call from a landlord association. I didn't even know there were landlord associations. And the president of the association gets on the phone and says, hey, I'm calling you from the NWCLA, we're a landlord association. Oh, what? You mean there's people out there who know what's going on who can help me? Okay, be careful if you volunteer for a nonprofit. If you volunteer too much, they'll make you president and you can't leave. So for 18 years, I was the president of that nonprofit. And about 3 or 4 years in, I became known. I was getting phone calls all the time. Brian, can I change the locks? No. Can I take out the toilet if they don't pay the rent? No. Can I do this? Can I do that? What do I do for a security deposit? All this stuff. So I was constantly answering these questions until one day I looked at my wife and said, what would it look like if we just started to manage for all these landlords who keep calling me anyways? She said, figure it out. So the next 3 months, I sat in the Leominster Barnes & Noble eating the Rice Krispie snacks because they were the cheapest ones in the rack. Sustained on Rice Krispies. And I wrote and did research and came up with a business plan. That was the beginning of Bel Air Property Management, and it was St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, just before 10 a.m. when they were going to kick my butt out. I had finished the report, and I was done, and I was ready, and I got a phone call, my first client, and we still have them today. We took their 12 unit, and they paid $650 for it, and now it's valued at $1.4 million because we raised the rents. And I'll never forget, at that moment when I hung up the phone, U2, the band U2, started playing Streets with No Name. And I'm thinking, wow, this is like such an omen to be a property manager. Streets with no name, properties everywhere. So that was the beginning of it. I never looked back, and it's been fun. I feel we've helped a lot of landlords avoid some of the mistakes that can take you out of the game. Anybody else? Yeah.
How do you find teams to help manage the units on the ground?
Sure. So for the recording, the question is, we're in 3 different coasts. How do we manage the teams and how do we find vendors and all that?
Yeah, maintenance people, those things.
Oh man. Better Team has been very good. A lot of referral. I'd say the #1 rock star we got off of Better Team was Hank. Hank is just a rock star. And you gotta screen people. Go onto YouTube and learn how to interview people, learn how to hire teams, learn how to be a good team leader. That, I think, is more important to be a good leader than to find a good person. Because you can find a great person, and if you can't put them in an environment where they thrive, they'll leave you and go to an environment where they can't. And you kiss a lot of frogs. Maintenance team was my hardest team to get the best people. And what did I learn? Offer Fortune 500 benefits. So the benefit package I give to my team is the same thing you're going to get at a large corporation. Does it cost me more money? Yeah. You know what really costs me money? Losing great people. So hand over fist, I'm going to do whatever I can to keep them. That question to you.
In regards to supporting business, thing you had talked about earlier, what is your thought process in figuring that out? And then typically, what's the relationship between those? How do you refer leads from one business to the other?
I wish I could remember the company. But we'll take a property management company. Do we do this? No. You could have a property management company. What's a contractor a property management company hires? A landscaping company that'll do the lawn care and the plowing. A painter, a cleaner. Like what I was saying about instead of being one person with 7 hats, be 7 different people with 1 hat. There's nothing to stop you from owning 3 companies that supply to each other. So what is that niche? In the book Mr. Salvo has, all about pies, later she grows her own fruit to put into the pies. So now she's a gardener, she's a baker, she's a business owner, she's an entrepreneur. 4 different hats, 1 in all about pies. Ancillary businesses are those other support businesses that you can create own to support your number one cause. Elon Musk is really good at that. He'll take a business model or a plan and break it down into all the components, and instead of saying it costs $4 trillion to do something, he'll break it down. Okay, so this business will cost me $3 million. This business will cost me $2 million. And he'll make all the components to be the ancillary businesses to support the greater goal.
What's the biggest challenge?
Seeing your smiling face,
What's the biggest challenge?
getting off the island. I'm not complaining, I love where I live, but you all have an advantage over me that you can get on the MLS tomorrow and drive and go look at that property. You can walk around it, you can look at the eaves and the roof, you can do all that stuff. So, I'm relying on my teams to be my eyes, my boots on the ground. So the trust in communication and documentation is at a level I never imagined it would be, but I absolutely love the game I play. My biggest challenge.
I was going to ask you, how do you, being so distant and across the island, how do you keep people fully accountable for the full job? So like, you know, scaling, it's very easy to trust somebody to do the work. They always cut corners, especially when you're not there. How do you enforce that all your criteria is met? And how do you confirm that it's all met?
You can talk to someone and know if they're going to cut a corner. If their attitude is, oh, that's good enough. My response is, not for me. My number one quote and on the website is, if I can see it and you can see it, the tenant can see it. Fix it. So, yeah, is that the job you would do for your grandmother? Would you be satisfied giving that job to your wife? Oh, guys, be careful if you answer that question. No, it's connecting to someone's heart is where I learned graphic design and illustration and marketing. You know, I can't sell you a BMW, but I can make you think of the feeling of owning a BMW and try to entice you to feel that. Our slogan at Bel Air is a beautiful, uplifting experience. I don't care if you're the tenant, my team member, the landlord, the butcher, the baker, the electrician. Dealing with us has to be a beautiful, uplifting experience, or it's not a match. If you're that plumber who's going to come in and do a half-hearted job, that's okay, we don't really need you. We'll find someone who loves what they do. And we've had vendors come to us all the time and says, we love working with you guys. Why? Because you don't nickel and dime us to do the job cheap or to do the job wrong. It's our license and it's our reputation, and you let us do the job right. We're happy to answer the phone when you call. And then what do? We pay them on time. And they'll tell the good contractors they don't. So if you don't have those standards, you're going to attract people that have the standards you have. If you're a high value standard person, you're going to be looking for, and you're going to have boundaries to attract high level standard people. Anybody else? That was a nose itch. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yes. What size shirt do you take? Small. It'd have to be small, right?
Just surprising. I can be medium size.
How about a medium? All right. So that's enough of that. If you, anybody else have any questions at all? Because my next appointment that I need to be at is a flight at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So, when are you kicking us off?
Huh?
What time do we have to get out of here?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. All right, so
What was it?
I was told 8, so.
8.
It's been 9 as far as long as that.
Well, it has been my pleasure to present to you tonight. If you do want to book yourself for the show, do that on the QRC code. It'll bring you right to our Calendly page, and you can block out the time that you want to be on the show. We'll set you up with a Zoom call. I'll be on the show. The show's pretty good. It's okay. I ask everybody the same questions, and I always get different answers, and that's why it's so much fun for me. Joshua, I think I'm done. We'll wrap it up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And